Good evening. This is Ryan Oikle Reviews, and today I'm talking about episode 209. Ninth episode is season 2. This is season 2, episode 9 of Hell's Kitchen. Final 3 chefs remaining. This came out August 7th, 2006, and in my opinion, this is one of the biggest episodes yet. So, without further ado, we get to the final 3. Sarah was eliminated last time, which I think, yeah, it's true. These are probably the strongest 3 chefs. Probably. Yeah, not many people hung up over Sarah's elimination. The challenge we get to is the first iteration of the annual Taste It Now Make It challenge. This is one of the best recurring challenges. It tests a lot: palate, skill, cooking. And Ramsay also loves this one because it's very telling of who has a good talent, a good knack for a cook, and whatnot. So the dish was a striped sea bass with a Tuscan white bean puree, couscous sauce, and seasoned with grapefruit. And out of everyone, Heather only gets one thing right there. Keith gets 2 things right there. And Virginia gets everything right. Which, yeah, unsurprisingly, she wins. Her palate's definitely her best attribute as a chef. She did very good in the blind taste test. And, like, outside of the kitchen, I think she is good. She's a great, chef, if you give her half an hour. The reward was some advice and some practice one-on-one with Ramsay working in the past. This is a pretty toned-down reward. It kind of reflects the tone, how the tone of the show changes during the season. It gets kind of goofy throughout the little part, and then that drops off as it gets serious, because they're competing for a restaurant. This is a huge deal for aspiring chefs, And also, it's a very cheap reward. I would guess that they probably went over budget a few of these rewards, like the Vegas ones and whatnot. So, yeah. The punishment's just to polish silverware and glasses with JP, good old Jean-Philippe. And both Heather and Keith are really pissed with Virginia, because she's incompetent in the kitchen and during service. She's always frazzled and struggling, yet she keeps winning all the challenges. So they make a pact to let Virginia drown during service. Keith and Heather are really close. They're like really good buddies in this point. So they're really kind of down to create a pact, the anti-Virginia alliance. And after that, they're both pretty cold to Virginia. Keith tells her that Ramsay only keeps her around and she only wins because Ramsay is attracted to her. So they're pretty pissed with Virginia. Going on to service. This is the first service in the show, where each chef gets a turn running the pass. And it's also, I think, important to highlight that they're serving an entire dinner room. Plus, I think they added 6 tables. They're doing an entire dining room, over 100 people, with only 5 chefs. 3 people, plus the sous chefs, so this is a really tough. I used to be only 4 chefs, because they get 2 people, 2 chefs, 2 sous chefs, and 1 on the pass. So 4 chefs, that's gotta be really tough, with a brigade-style kitchen. Okay, the service starts. Right out the gate, disaster strikes. Demonstrating exactly everyone's concerns with Virginia. She burns 2 salmons immediately on her fish station. So that's not good. She has to throw them out. Ramsay gets pretty pissed with her because this is the first ticket. And then because of that, that screws up Heather. And Heather mistimes her chicken, burns it. Which is a really rough start to service. To have the 2 protein service stations immediately go down. After that, someone needs to start taking reins, so he puts Keith on the hot plate now. The first thing that happens is some overcooked spaghetti gets sent from sous chef Scott as a quality control test. It's really interesting here because they took what Michael did in season 1 to try to sabotage as a quality control test, and they put it into the show, which is really cool. I really enjoy this. But on the pass overall, he struggles because Virginia's not giving him any answers and he's not pushing her enough. Keith is really unassertive when it comes to the people he works with, and he's very. He doesn't like. He likes being true to himself, you know? He doesn't want to turn into some assertive hard ass. So that kind of harms him. Because of his unassertiveness, Heather has to take over with the times in the line, uh, which does slow down the kitchen. He gets sent back. Only 25 tables have been served with an hour into service, so things aren't too great with Keith's hot plate. Heather gets put up next. She starts off pretty panicky. She's very rushing things and like freaking out a little bit. Eventually, she calms down. During her pass, Keith sends out a poor risotto, and Ramsay catches it. He's pretty pissed because Keith won't look him in the eye. And Ramsay's number one critique with Keith is that he's a great, talented chef with piss poor attitude. So Ramsay chews him out for his attitude. He won't look him in the eye. He just wants a good risotto, you know. Heather gets a lot of apps out. She has good leadership. Unfortunately, Marianne, sous chef Marianne, sends out lumpy mashed potatoes as a quality control, and she doesn't spot that, starts to argue with Ramsay, and gets sent back to the line. So some good, some bad with hers. Virginia gets put up next, and she actually got practice on this earlier. So theoretically, she should be the best at this. And if she's not good at the line cooking, hopefully she's good at something. She's pretty unassertive and shaky to begin with. Not pretty unorganized, not knowing what to do. But then slowly starts to get solid. She spots the sabotage from sous chef Scott, which was sending a sea bass instead of a salmon, which I think is a really easy sabotage. Because undercooked spaghetti and lumpy mashed potatoes take closer inspection. A salmon is a different color. A salmon is pink, an orange salmon color. It's so distinct it has a color named after it. Sea bass is a white fish. So, oh well, she spots it. She gets praised for her good work and sent back. Her leadership was solid. She got everything out. I think there were 3 tables left. She's put back. And 3 tables left, she's struggling on fish station. So you can tell she's a lot stronger on the pass than on the line, which is thankful for her because she is not good on the line. And then the finish service. It was decent, you know, a good service. And these are 3 pretty good chefs. They all have to go nominate someone. And because Keith and Heather are so aligned, they both nominate Virginia. She was confused in the line and has a lack of teamwork. Along with Virginia, Ramsay nominated Keith to come up. And between the two, he eliminates him for his poor work on the pass. Because although I think Keith is better overall, he's looking for a leader, an executive chef, someone who can lead the kitchen. And Keith is a good, great cook, but doesn't have great leadership qualities, which I think Virginia was a lot better on the pass. She had the best pass at anyone. And even though she's been nominated 6 times, you know, it's really leader is like the bottom line. Keith is pretty pissed. He accuses Ramsay of saving Virginia because he has a hard-on for her, which Ramsay rightfully gets pretty angry. This is before Ramsay had that huge reputation of being some scary guy, so people weren't afraid to give him a piece of their mind. He gets kicked out right at promptly because of his poor attitude and his arguing. He kind of burnt his own bridge with that comment and his argument. But yeah, I think this is a pretty great episode. We had some really great staples of late game Hell's Kitchen. Taste It Now Make It, Black Jackets on the Pass, a fun, what do they call it? Accusational? That's not the right word. Accusational elimination. And some cool stuff happened. First time, some trivia. This is Virginia's 6th nomination overall, which sets the record for most nominations in a season. She also set the record for most consecutive nominations in one season, with 4 nominations in a row, which is pretty impressive for Final 2. And it's the first time Taste It Now Make It challenge has happened. She's appeared in every season, most seasons, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19. This is my favorite. It's like one of my. I love this. I love Taste It Now Make It. And that's all the first team. They got the Black Jackets on the final service. So pretty monumental. This is a really big episode. And starting next episode is the finale. So I'm pretty excited going into that. We have 2 good chefs. Heather very strong on the pass. Virginia very strong as a leader. Watching this, going through it the first time, I was pretty on Virginia, because I definitely thought she was just bad overall. But revisiting, she's definitely a strong leader, even if she's unorganized and bad on her own. So she does have that going for her. So it's not going to be a total blowout. But yeah, that was episode 209, starting tomorrow, or whenever I make it, is the winner announcement.